Punk Revolution now! Today I hope you are having a wonderful Friday, which is the day I uploaded this. Thank you. Why did I say thank you? So today we're going to be reviewing deathcrash's debut album, Return. Deathcrash. Ooh, sounds scary. Yeah, this is not scary. It's a British band, so nothing to worry about. This is cool. This is their debut album. I had not listened to anything from them before. I can see that they're growing a bit. I'm seeing a little bit of chatter about them. Slowcore, indie rock, post-hardcore band. Obviously some of my favorite genres, so I guess I'll have to suck up the fact that they're British and give it a listen, even though American music is better. Yeah, I've decided that I'm just gonna be open about it. I prefer American music. Wow, that's not a secret. That's bad though. It's probably, is that racist to prefer American music to British music? I don't know. I'm sorry. Let's just get the review started. Let's just start by taking a look at the album cover. This is a pretty dark album cover. So we got this Deathcrash band name with this album titled Return, and then we got this dark album title. It looks pretty dark, you know. If I didn't know anything about it and I just went into it seeing this, I might think that maybe it's gonna be like I don't know, emo violence or something real aggressive, or some, I don't know, evil shoegaze or something. And then I don't know, there's like some little kind of things in the middle of the album cover. Looks maybe like the nervous system, like those are the little like nerves, or maybe it's like coral. I don't know if you kids know what coral is. I don't know if that still exists, but it used to be like these little things, these kind of like beautiful like living rocks on the bottom of the ocean that breathe and save the ocean, and they don't exist because we killed the planet. So, good album cover, dark, and you know what? This is obviously, if this is gonna be slowcore, indie rock, post-rock, obviously this is not emo violence. Although there is a moment in the middle of the album with the song titled Wrestle with Jimmy, which is a really funny title, kind of reminds me of Weezer Blue Album, that there is some like screams that kind of come in very quietly in the mix, But what stands out to me about this album is, no, it's not emo violence at all. It takes a very subtle, gentle, patient approach to their rock. Slow core. Like literally just, you know, every kick on the drum and every bass drum and every guitar chord and every riff is like supposed to be, you know, real slow and heavy, and just kind of, you can feel the momentum kind of building. It's a powerful genre, and Deathcrash seem to really know how to freaking rock it. One thing I can't help but notice that's just to me is very interesting is that, you know, right now in the UK there is a ton of very nerdy rock coming out. Rock that is very much experimental and influenced by like 90s post-rock and post-hardcore, black midi, black country, new road, shame. I've already got, you know, the list goes on, Squid. There's lots of that experimental rock from the UK coming out. Then we've got Deathcrash, which is a band that, you know, they just take a completely different approach with their music. While a lot of those other bands I listed seem to be very interested in, like, let's head towards dissonance and epicness and wacky craziness, black midi crazy, you know, cavalcade, what the heck, we're a crazy band who likes, you know, she's a purpose, whatever. Deathcrash, they clearly are coming from that same scene in the sense that they're very just big music nerds. It's so clear they love music, especially with the influence from Slint. I feel like all these bands just have an unspoken agreement that they're all allowed to you know, take as much influence from Slint as possible, and my band Died also was totally guilty with that with our first EP. I get it, I really do, as someone who's gone through it. You can see they come from like the same, like, soil of music nerdy British, whatever the heck's going on. Maybe Soylent got into the water supply in the UK, but they just go in a completely different direction with it and have an end result, an end product that's way different than anything that like Black Country, New Road, or Black Midi are taking, because it's just so much more emphasis on emotion. If I were to describe these songs, I'd kind of put it like this. So it's like you take the song For Dinner off of Spiderland, which is, you know, just kind of like strumming these sort of dark, brooding, emotional, kind of ominous guitar chords that are kind of being strummed with eighth notes, and those kind of like build, and it creates a very dark atmosphere, which does fit the album cover. Instead of having just like a whispery talking that Slint does, that, you know, Slint has like this talking that kind of goes on top of it. Instead we get this like very beautiful, melancholy, actually melodic singing that's also very whispery, You know, very like, I don't need to show you, you know what whispery, melancholy, melodic singing sounds like. It's interesting because they blend the dark creepiness of Spiderland with also like the beautiful emotional kind of post-rock you see in Bark Psychosis, which are, you know, just two different branches of post-rock that have a lot in common. And then we have, why'd I make that noise? Deathcrash coming out of that influence as well. My favorite track here is definitely American Metal. That I think, I mean, that just is such a cool song. I don't want to give spoiler alerts, but I'm going to give spoiler alerts because I know you're not paying attention enough and you need me to tell you what's happening into the song. So halfway, so you're listening to this song, it's a, you know, a beautiful, they're playing this real slow tempo, real emotional, letting their guitars swell as they do with the whispery vocals. They're good at keeping the tension going. And then about like halfway through the song, you hear these very dramatic lyrics about suicide, and it just sounds very personal and heavy. And the song just comes to a stop. And then the entire second half of that song is just one chord progression, very, very gradually just builds and crescendos to the end, and it just sounds so good. It just feels like you're watching the ending of a really intense, beautiful, emotional movie or something like that. It's just great. This band, I love when they do these longer songs and they just kind of take all sorts of plot twists and stuff. It's really cool. I'm hearing some Slint Spiderland, of course. I'm hearing some American football, Midwest emo in the guitars and drums, especially when things kind of slow down. They really do kind of bring in those sort of arpeggiating, maybe even a tad bit twinkly riffs in there sometimes. I'm hearing some Codeine with the intense, dramatic, you know, dynamics and shifts in their music, and I'm hearing Bark Psychosis with the vocals, and of course just more post-rock. And I'd also say I'm hearing some Pedro the Lion and just the general atmosphere and vibe of the music they're making here. So these are all great bands. These are all great influences. I love these influences, and I of course really, really enjoy this album because it falls within this sphere of music that I really like. But I do have to say, you know, it is kind of a flaw that I do have an issue with the entire London Windmill scene, if you want to call it the Windmill scene, where they just are kind of, you know, just taking previous bands, especially from the 90s, and just kind of playing with those sounds and mixing it and to create an also really good album. But I just wish they would push their creativity and push their boldness just even further as far as they can until they create something that is so distinctly theirs. They've already done a great job standing out in the scene by going in a quieter, more emotional direction than the crazy dissonant direction, but I want them to go just create some. I mean, they've got the talent, they can do it. I just want them to just give me more of a reason to reach for them over their past bands that have kind of done this already before. And my other complaint with this album is that it is over an hour long, and frankly, about halfway through this album, I feel like I've heard all the ideas that this album has to offer. Yes, there is the song Wrestle with Jimmy that does have some screaming going on in there, and the mixed in the back, which I think is really cool. I wish they would do more kind of plot twists like that, but I do feel like 2/3 through the album, it's like, okay, I kind of get this band's vibe. It just doesn't bring enough unique ideas to the table, but they are certainly really talented, and honestly, I just really enjoy this album, and I even though I've got some criticisms of this album, I can't emphasize enough how much like I connected with this album as a music nerd myself. They love the art, I love the art. They've got a lot of emotions going on. I've got a lot of emotions going on. It just feels like just a bunch of artists I can really vibe with. So I'm giving this a 7.8 out of 10. If you're a fan of post-rock, indie rock, slowcore, post-hardcore, you don't want to miss this one. This one's really, really, really cool. But if you're not into any, you know, Slint, Codeine, any of those bands, then maybe you won't really vibe with this one as much because it is kind of following down that same path. So 7.8, lots of great stuff. I cannot wait to see what they do next because I actually really connected with this band a lot. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps my channel grow when you do that, and I really appreciate it. And we're gonna get 10,000 subscribers soon, I bet. And thanks for watching, and thank you, Deathcrash, for your fantastic debut album, Return. Punk Revolution. Oh my god, I gotta trim my mustache. Punk Revolution now.